Morning everybody, I'm the Bear Bro Brummy, and today we're not in the workshop for a change, we're out here in the sunlight. It's a lovely day, so I thought I'd come out to my club. There's the sign behind me, and it gives me the opportunity to talk about a subject that's been bugging me for quite a while. And it's, why do beginner archers and new archers and inexperienced archers miss the target high by quite a bit? And I don't mean by that much, I mean by that much. And after a lot of talking to beginner archers and what they're actually seeing and watching them myself, I've come to the conclusion I think I know what the problem is. And as a coach, I think I might be partly to blame for it. Let's go into detail and I'll explain what I mean. Okay, so what I've got out there is I've got a target typically set for what we use for our beginners, and it's about 15 meters away, something like that. And I'm going to demonstrate what I see from our beginners nearly every week, and see if you can spot what I see on a regular basis. Before I start, let me just apologise for the noise in the background. I've managed to pick the day that the school sports day is in the field next door, so they're a little bit noisy. I can only apologise for it. We'll take out as much as we can, but unfortunately I've got to live with it. I can't get rid of them. Anyway, so I'm going to shoot 3 arrows and you see the result. Arrow 1, arrow 2, and arrow 3. Do you see the problem? Let's go up to the target and I'll show you what the problem is. So what you see there is a nice clean target with no arrows in it, and just up there you see all 3 of my arrows. Why do you think I'm missing that high? Well, I'm going to set up a bow down there, give you an idea of what I think is going on. And it's pretty straightforward, but it's something that doesn't really occur to beginners until it's pointed out to them. So we'll do our best to explain it properly. Okay, so what you see here is the best I can assimilate to what the archer sees at full draw, more or less. As you can see, the point is right on the gold. Right, so the archer would naturally think that the arrow is going to hit the gold. Unfortunately, that's not the case, because what they're doing is they're looking out through their eye, which is considerably higher than the actual arrow itself. So as you're looking straight at the gold through that point, the arrow is actually pointing upwards. So what the archer actually sees is when they're at full draw like this, they're looking through the point of the arrow at the target, but as you can see from where the arrow is and where my eye is, there's a 4 or 5 inch difference between what you're seeing and where the arrow is actually pointing. What they're actually doing is like this. So the arrow will tend to go high. I can prove this by giving you a simple simple line with a piece of string that shows you exactly what you see is right, but the arrow is not pointing where you think it's pointing. Okay, so what you see here is the arrow is still pointing directly at the target from the archer's perspective. What I've done is I've put some string that goes all the way from the arrow all the way to the target. What I've done, you see, is I've attached it to the fence behind me there, and the string goes straight through the arrow and in a more or less straight line, bearing in mind this is a piece of string. And if you follow the string all the way to the target, let's walk up there. As I say, this is about 15 meters. And when we arrive at the target, what you will see is it's quite extraordinary. Here we go. That's the line that the arrow is taking. That's where the target is. And the arrow is going to hit right up there, assuming it travels in a straight line. I know it doesn't, but it doesn't miss by that much. That's a good 4 feet too high. And that's the issue that beginners tend to show me whenever they're shooting, and they don't understand why it's going all the way up there while they're aiming at the centre of the target. And there's your issue. Now, yeah, there is the question that arrows do drop in their flight. That's a fact. But even with beginner archers, they're only using light poundage bows. The drop during the flight over 15 meters, which is what we're doing here, is 6 inches, maybe 8 inches if you're lucky, or if you're unlucky, but not the 5 feet that we've got, the 4 or 5 feet that we've got up there. There's clearly something wrong with your aiming technique, so that's what we need to look at next. Okay, so what I've done now is I've set my string line up so it is pointing directly in the centre of the goal, and we'll follow the string back to see from the archer's perspective exactly where the arrow is pointing. Let's go back, go back, go back. You can see from here that the string is pointing straight down the arrow, so the arrow is pointing directly at the centre of the goal. We know that. But from the archer's perspective, let's get it in the right place, right there. You see where that point is aiming? That point is aiming almost halfway to the target. Now it is a little bit windy, so the string is being blown around a little bit, but you get the actual point I'm trying to make here. Your aim point is considerably lower at the shorter distances than where your arrow is going to end up. And this is why beginner archers miss high so much, because they're not taking into account the fact that their eye line is different to their arrow line. That's a better view, isn't it? So I'm back at home now because the noise of the kids from the school sports day was properly getting in the way. I couldn't even hear myself talk half the time, they were so loud. But let's do a quick wind up. So what you saw there graphically was a good example of what I think a beginner archer tends to do. I will stand behind beginner archers all day and watch them shoot and say, you're aiming too high. You're aiming too high, you're aiming too high. And then they lower and lower and lower to the point where they think, you know, I can't shoot there. This man is completely off his head. If I shoot there, I'm going to shoot it straight into the ground. But because I'm standing behind them, and quite a way behind them sometimes, it's clear to me that they're not going to miss the target. It's fine. But you have to let them learn it and practice it and have the confidence in what they're doing, because it's the only way you can really pick it up properly is if you try it, you get it wrong, you do it again, and you learn from your mistake. What I see is people tend to aim the first arrow high, but then the second one goes there as well. And fundamentally, the problem is they can't get it into the head, or get it into our head, that we need to aim considerably lower than that. So anyway, that's enough of me babbling on. I've been the Barebow Brummie. I hope this video helps you understand that kind of high shooting issue, and I'll see you again soon. If you like the video, please click down there. If you want to subscribe to the channel, please click down there, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.